What's going on, guys? So I came out here today to my Gooseneck Texas Pride trailer with the specific goal of removing the insert right here, this Bulldog coupler, and replacing it with my Gen Y coupler that was provided to me actually about a month ago. So I've had it for a while now. I've been delaying putting it on only because I haven't had a heck of a lot of time to do it, but the weather's right, the situation's right, and we're gonna try to do it today. The only challenge I have is finding real benefit over what I currently have. Now, I'm going to put it on here specifically because I know a lot of people want to know how it works, how the coupling system works. And I have one of my drop hitches in its rise position is what they call it, and to kind of demonstrate how this works. Now, I like the Bulldog setup, and one of the reasons why I went with this is because it's completely automatic from a coupling perspective. I don't have to do anything. I simply raise the ball into it, it couples up, and then that's it. So let me kind of show you a better example of this, because I think we all know it's lowering the ball and not raising it. Let's get power going to my hydraulics here, and then we're going to lower it down onto the tractor, and you'll see what happens here. So there you go. So that's all that's to it. Whenever you're lowering it, it automatically opens up, accepts the 2 5/16 inch ball, shuts around it, and you're good to go. And it's locked in place, so we're in good shape. And to release it, it's kind of just a simple process of pulling on this cable that I have right here, which is connected to it. It lifts up the latch and it releases. So that is a very, very functional, practical system, and I like how it works. The difference between this system and the Gen Y is that from a coupling perspective, it doesn't auto couple, right? So in order for this to work, I take the ball, it locks in place. However, when I take the ball out, it's ready to lock in place again. It keeps it open, but if this were to close, let me show you. So it's closed now, it's not going to accept a ball. So essentially the way that I think they expect this to work for you is you just leave it open until you need to hitch up the next time to it. So an example of that would be, again, it's open, we back the trailer up to it, lower it down onto the ball, it locks in place, we're good to go. And then whenever you are decoupling from it, I simply open this up, take the ball out, and it's just ready to go next time. I don't have to worry about anything having to open up and then close over the ball. It's already ready to go. It's in its open position, and next time you couple to your trailer, it's going to lock in place automatically. So that's the mentality behind this system, and it's not a bad one. Now, the key here, what I really would like to see is if they made this logo maybe a little larger or extended this arm out further, because what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to drill a hole through here so I can actually use my cable to release it remotely. In the case with this one, I never have to hop into the bed of my truck to lift this lever up. The hole's already here, I have a cable ran, and all I have to do from here is lift up to decouple. Now I'm hoping that the way that that bar is set up right there will give me that same capability. But I will definitely have to drill a hole through here for that to happen, because there's no other way to really accomplish that. Now, the other thing that I'm hoping is that the hardware around this section isn't something that can potentially give out on me, because I don't know the size of that bolt right there. But again, I'd hate for that to be a failure point, especially if I'm gonna have this connected to a cable that I'm yanking on to release the ball. Because like right now my plan is to put a hole here, so I pull up the lever, and it's gonna pop this thing up. This is the problem. If I pull the lever, it's only gonna wanna pull it up to here, and it needs to open up pretty far to there in order for it to release, which means I may have to reroute the cable. And if I reroute the cable, that's probably gonna mean that the cable is gonna have to attach to it from like right here instead of coming through this little chain holding loop right there. So let's get this one out. It's really simple. The process of removing these is simply to loosen your 2 set screws, which are already loose, pull this pin out, and then this should drop out. But sometimes, as you can see, there's a lot of surface rust right there. It can get itself wedged in here, and that's the reason why we have the tractor out right now. We're going to hook it to the back of the tractor so we can pull up on it, and hopefully it'll get itself out of there. Okay, so that worked. I removed the hitch from the back and I put it into the receiver hole in between the forks. Drove it up. You can see it was pretty rusted in there, and that was causing it to bind up. Now, from a material thickness perspective, that looks like Schedule 40. That's probably, let's just say, a 1/4 inch thick. You compare that to, again, the insanely overbuilt products from Gen Y. That right there looks like it's 3/8 inch thick. This thing is a massive beast, and it weighs a lot more, so that's just something to keep in mind as well. What we're going to do now is we're going to grease up and clean up the interior of that receiving tube on the front of the Gooseneck trailer, and we're going to try to put the new one in. And again, I am going to have to figure out how to deal with that piece right there, because I don't want to have to hop into the bed of my truck to release it, because I don't have to right now with the Bulldog. So if I can come up with a means of pulling that latch back, which is basically just flipping it like that, I think we'll be in good shape, even if I have to possibly fabricate something and add it right there. But we'll see. Okay, so here are both products side by side. Again, you can see the release mechanism on the Bulldog. Just lifts up like that. When that lifts up, it moves that bar out of the way right there, and that allows the ball to drop on. So basically, this is a fully automatic coupling system. You don't have to do anything. You simply drop it down, this lifts up, will rotate back, locks in place. This one is automatic from a coupling perspective, but not from a hitching perspective. So as you drop this down, again, this is the position it's going to be in. You have to open it up, drop it in place, and it will automatically lock over the ball once it comes down. I like both designs. I like the fact that they both have kind of a positive locking mechanism. You know, when this bar goes up and it comes back down, you're coupled in place. If it jams right here, you know it's not. And that's kind of the same with this one as well. This one, whenever you get the ball, this makes a really nice clicking sound and it spins back. And when the Y is in its normal orientation, you know that you're locked over the ball. From a construction perspective, at least the construction from the tube, the Gen Y wins hands down. Much thicker material, much better finish on it. I don't know if the finish on this is ever going to look like that with all the surface rust and stuff like that. This is made in America. I do not believe this one is. I believe this one's probably made overseas, made in Mexico. So this one's made in Mexico, this one's made in the US. This one looks a heck of a lot prettier. And the thing I like about the Bulldog, though, is the fact I can get my cable like that. I can spin this thing up to unlatch it. So we're gonna give this one a shot for a while and we're gonna see how we like it. Let's get it installed. Okay, so it's the next day. We got this thing on. It didn't really take that long, but I had to get pulled away from it. We have it in its very, I guess you could say its highest hole, or the lowest hole closest to the coupler, to get it in there as high as possible to match the same height that we had with the Bulldog. I drilled a hole through the Y right here and hooked a cable to it with a little clip at the end of it. It does not pull at the same angle, so I can't pull up like this. I have to pull back. So I used my cable, hooked it up to a magnet, and let me show you how it works. Before that, you can see my dad has his RV here. He's actually installing a couple solar panels on the roof. It's already pre-wired for it. He had a MPPT solar charge controller he bought on Amazon for like $35. It didn't work, so I told him he could buy my Victron solar charge controller from me that I was going to use for a different project. So that's what he ended up installing, and it's working good. Having it pre-wired is a huge plus. That said, I have my 2 5/16 inch ball. This is currently in its locked configuration, but let's go ahead and open it up. Ball's in, locks in place. I have my nifty cable here on a magnet, which I should be able to remove pretty difficultly because this magnet is insane. There we go. And then I just pull up like that, and the ball drops out. So it is ready and reset for the next time I couple up. So next time I hitch up, I lower it onto the ball. It's locked in place. This will just attach to the side of the trailer, and I can just slide it off. That's a lot easier. And then pull that open, and the ball will drop out whenever I lift up the trailer. And it's reset, locked in place again. Very, very cool. It's going to be interesting the first time I hook up to it with the truck to use it, to do something different like this. But the process of opening it up is now no more difficult than it was with my other hitch. The difference, or my other coupler, the difference now is when I go like this, it's locked into place. On the Bulldog, I have to hold it open whenever I'm decoupling because it wants to spring shut the whole time. So you're back here holding the thing open. And this is actually pretty convenient. And with the magnet right here, I can simply put the pull cable out of the way if I need to use it, slide it down like that, and I can use it. But it puts that out of the way, and I can just wrap it around. But that is pretty cool. It's a good setup. I can open it up from here as well, drop the ball out, and we're good to go. What do you think of this really cool SnapLatch technology from the folks over at Gen Y? It is a little different in terms of execution versus the Bulldog that I had on here. That said, it's pretty functional. It works well. And again, the thing I like about it, so they all have their advantages. The advantage of the Bulldog is the fact that you put the ball in, or when you lower it down onto the ball, it's going to open up and lock in place automatically, which is really nice. The benefit of the Gen Y is that when you're uncoupling, you simply pull this, it locks open, so you can just lift it off the ball and you're not having to hold onto the cable the whole time, which is just one less thing you have to pay attention to whenever you're using this. They both lock into place once the ball's seated, and this one resets itself, so whenever you open it up to drop the ball out, it's already open in the position ready to accept another ball, so you don't actually have to have it auto open and close like the Bulldog. Love to know your feedback though. From a build quality perspective, this thing is a tank, and I really doubt that the finish on this thing is going to wear away like the finish did on my Bulldog. That's definitely going to be a big difference, because the Bulldog finish was actually so bad it caused rust to form around it, so it was very difficult to get out of the actual receiver tube, which you all probably saw in the portion of this video where we removed it. Anyways, I'd love to know your feedback. Leave a comment below. My official channel sponsor, etrailer.com, carries all the Gen Y products. Go check them out if you're interested, and I'd love to know what your feedback is on this new SnapLatch technology. Anyways, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.